All right, so I'm going to go through some examples on how to put trend lines on a graph and just kind of give you some help so that you can complete the worksheet for today while I'm out at the state meet. So it says the scatter plot shows a relationship between the daily high temperature and the number of snow cones sold at a concession stand. Based on the scatter plot, approximately how many snow cones will be sold on a day when the high temperature is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. This keyword right here, approximately. Okay, words like approximately, estimate, and predict. Those three words generally tell you that you need to draw a trend line. Okay, a trend line is a kind of very, very average line that just goes through your graph. You want roughly the same number of points above the line as below the line. The key thing is it needs to be straight. Okay, it must be a straight line. Now, it does not, RP does not have to go through the origin. It does not have to connect your first and your last point, and it has to be straight. Okay, it must be a straight line. So this would be a good estimate for a trend line here. Might be a little bit high. We can scoot it down just a hair. Okay, but somewhere right in there is a nice estimate for a trend line on this graph. And it asks you about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to figure out this is 90, so 85 would be here. This would be 82 and a half. We'll scoot over just a little bit. That would be about 82 right there. Where those two lines meet is always going to be your, is always going to be your answer. Okay, so it would be those points right there that you're looking for. We'll look for an answer choice that's somewhere between 40 and 50 snow cones. We got 63, 46, 29, and 33. Your answer would be 46. 46 snow cones fits our data nicely through here. So that would be the answer to pick on that one. Let's look at example 2. Ms. Collins made a scatter plot to show the relationship between the number of absences a student has in her class and the student's final exam score. Based on this scatter plot, approximately, ding, 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 need to draw a trend line. What score would a student with 6 absences expect to get? Well, we draw our trend line down through here. Okay, we have roughly the same number of points above my line as below my line. And we go with the trend of the data. Okay, it asks us about 6 absences, so that would be this one right here. And we can see that student would expect to get somewhere between a 75 and an 80 in this general area, probably closer to 75. Okay, but right where those two lines cross each other is where we're looking for an answer. You got 65, 92, 67, 76. A 76 would be that student's expected grade on the exam. Now, could that kid that missed 6 days come up and make a 92? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, not at all saying that that couldn't happen, saying that the data shows they would be right there in that range. Okay, number 3, scatter plot shows the number of hours that 12 people spent learning to type on a keyboard and each person's average typing speed. Based on the scatter plot, what is the best prediction? Ding, ding, ding. Got to draw a trend line. Prediction of a person's average typing speed in words per minute if the person has spent 70 hours learning to type. Okay, so we're looking for 70 hours. So we come right here, 70, boom, draw your trend line. Goes boom, about like something like that. Through there, through as many dots as possible. All right, boom, you say, okay, 55, my answer, 55 words per minute, and you would be dead wrong. Okay, that is not when it asks you. This is 70 words per minute. It asks you 70 hours. You say, but Coach Fair, 70 hours isn't on here. I picked the only 70 there. Right, they tried to trick you. They were successful. Okay, we don't want to let them be successful. We're going to it'd be 50, 60 would be here, 70 would be out here somewhere. So we draw a nice line out there. And then you may have to draw a third line that kind of connects those to see where you'd be. Would be about 85, maybe a little above. And what do you know right there? We got to answer 85 words per minute. Okay, you may notice on these that your answer choices are not usually close together. That's because they understand that there's going to be a little bit of variance in how you draw that trend line. This is one of the very few times in math that it's okay to have a little variance in your answer, and you can still be correct. Okay, so find the one that's closest to what you picked, and voila, you have your answer. Okay, this next one's a little bit different. It says, which graph shows a relationship between the costs of pecans and the weight of the pecans in pounds? Which function best represents the relation shown on the graph? So if we're looking at this graph here, you have, if we're looking at this graph here, you've got cost, weight, we've got this line here. This would be a positive line. It's going to have a positive correlation, but this isn't really a scatter plot like the other ones, okay? But this is a STAR test question they could ask you over this topic. Which function best represents the relationship shown on the graph? Well, if we look at our answer choices, a quick peek down here tells us the only thing that's different in these answer choices is this number right here in front of our x. That number in front of the x we know to be our slope. So some little quick guesswork tells us that we need to find our slope. Okay, we got a point here, so we draw our line there. We draw a line here. We count our rise over run. So we rise 10, not just 1. We rise 10, and we run from 0 to 2. We rise 10, run 2. All right, so that 10 over 2, 10 divided by 2 comes out to 5. So your answer would be A. Notice you did the run over rise. If you flipped it upside down, that's an answer choice. And then what do you know? If you did rise 1, run 2, 1 over 2 is also an answer choice down there on letter D. So make sure that you do those properly. Count that rise over run by what they give you when you're finding the slope. Okay, last one here. Graph models the volume of a machine over a 10-year period. Which equation best represents the relationship between X, the age of the machine, and Y, the value of the machine in this 10-year period? Okay, again, a quick peek down at our answer choices shows us we need to figure out what the Y equals mx plus b equation would be for this graph. Okay, the easiest thing to find on this graph is always the y-intercept. The y-intercept. That's where your line hits your y-axis here. Okay, it's got a y up at the top. It's where your line hits your y-axis. And we notice this is in thousands of dollars. So this would be $8,000 for your y-intercept. So we go down and we get rid of A and we get rid of D right there. And then on this question, we actually don't even have to do any math at all. Okay, what type of slope do we have here? Would this be positive or negative? Okay, if it's going downhill, that would be nice negative, downhill. Nice negative. So that's going to have a negative slope. So you've got negative 500x or 500x as your answer choices that are left. It would be B, negative 500x plus 800 would represent the value of your machine through the years. Okay, I hope this helps you on that worksheet that you're about to do. It's got 10 questions. Okay, when you get those 10 questions done, go ahead and submit it on your Google Classroom, but we will more than likely come back later on and put those answers into a Google form sometime when I'm back next week. So once you're done with that, you need to get the worksheet that's up on the front table, the little maze, complete that. It is a front and back paper. So make sure you do both sides of that. On Monday, we will start a little type of project. It'll be over some roller coasters, and we'll see how y'all handle that. So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to watching you guys work on that project next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Be good for the sub while I'm gone. And make sure that you're working hard and getting your stuff done. Don't forget those IXLs are due next Friday. Bye, guys.